You're listening to Trek FM.
Hello and welcome to From There to Here, Trek FM's 50th Anniversary Rewatch of Star Trek, in which we look at all 729 episodes from beginning to end. I'm Mike from Stage 9.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we're going to be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek, one Voyager and one Deep Space Nine, Tattoo, and Little Green Men. So let's get started with the Voyager episode, Tattoo. This is the episode where they go to a planet for some reason. I can't remember what. Oh, I think they're looking for, like, sealant for their warp core or something. And
Polypharenide, Mike? Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You couldn't remember that?
Yeah, I forgot. And they find some strange markings, which are very similar to some strange markings related to Chakotay's tribe on Earth, and legend that there were, like, spirits from the sky who came and did something, and he got a tattoo, and, like, there's an alien on the planet that has the same tattoo. It's the guy. Did you ever see The Girl Next Door?
I have not, no.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. He's in that movie, and he plays, like, his dad's friend. And it's hilarious. He's hilarious in that movie. Way funnier than Tattoo. So yeah, and then they hang out with some alien guys. So what did you think about Tattoo?
I really liked the Doctor getting sick. So if we just want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that happened. That was really good, right?
Yeah, he gets a little humble pie, because he thinks it's, he's basically getting spoon-fed empathy from Kes. Like, listen, this is how you need to improve your bedside manner. The early Doctor stuff, going back and watching these episodes, man, it's good. It's good stuff, all the way across the board. I think it's just mostly because, Bob Picardo he's just tremendous,
Yeah.
And he just, every scene that he's in, it just seems to be a standout scene. Literally the rest of this episode, I wish never happened. Never, ever happened. It was never a part of anything. It's awful. It's bad.
This is the episode. I mean, anytime that anyone asks me, like, what's your least favorite episode of Star Trek, my answer is always Tattoo. And the reason is because this is the episode where I came to the realization that I don't have to watch Star Trek if I don't want to.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I vividly remember sitting in my living room watching this episode and thinking, like, this is some really boring stuff. Why am I watching this? And I mean, I guess at the time, historically speaking, 16-year-old Mike was, just starting to get into, the world of cinema. I looked on Box Office Mojo, like, the movie that came out this week was Bound. The Wachowskis' first movie, Bound, which is an amazing movie. There's no way that Tattoo can compete with Bound. Show a 16-year-old Bound, they ain't going to be watching Tattoo anytime soon, okay? And, like, it really was sort of like a revelatory moment for me. And I pretty much said, that's it, I'm done. I mean, going back just a year, to, like, Generations and Caretaker, and me being like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life, to now, I guess it's about 2 years later at this point, just being like, I don't care about this at all. I do not want to watch this, and just stopping. And, I've since gone back and seen everything, but that's how bad Tattoo is. It's bad enough to get me to stop watching Star Trek.
I mean, what else can you say other than that? It's not just, like, bad. It's, like, boring too, and
that's the
it's
thing.
It's hard to just get through because you're like, why do I even care about any of this?
Right.
And nothing. It's just the worst. I feel bad because I want to say something positive, and I did. I like the Doctor stuff, so I don't feel too bad. But there's just not anything here. There's nothing here that's worth holding on to or keeping in any way.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay to say that, you don't like an episode of Star Trek. That's healthy,
I don't like tattoo.
Me either. All right. High five.
High five.
So should we move on then to
Yes,
the Deep Space
yes.
Nine episode, which is Little Green Men? Now, this is the episode where Quark and Rom are taking Nog to Earth so that he can start his tenure at Starfleet Academy. And in the process, they accidentally get thrown back in time to 1947 and crash land in Roswell, New Mexico. And, hijinks ensue. So what did you think about Little Green Men?
Yeah, this is definitely a hijinks episode. There's no doubt about it. So my favorite Ferengi episode ever, and I don't think it should be surprising, would be The Magnificent Ferengi. So much fun. I love that episode. And right behind it is Little Green Men. And I know that's not necessarily a high bar favorite Ferengi episode, but this episode is, and another thing that I actually do really hate is the retconning of things into real history. So this idea that there was Ferengis in Roswell, I think that's stupid. But the episode is so much fun. It doesn't actually bother me like it normally would. It fits into the larger story of Nog, and we've talked about this whole ongoing storyline they have here now. So that's great. And then the three of them together, they have such good chemistry. And then you got the whole translator thing, and the supporting characters are funny. And then, of course, the reveal at the end that Odo's the dog. It's such a fun ride the whole time through. Just one of the funniest episodes of Star Trek that I can think of.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, what you're talking about with sort of retconning, things into history or whatever, or retconning history into Star Trek, continuity or whatever. I agree with that. I think the reason why it works here is because it is a comedic episode. It's over the top, and it's playing into how ridiculous everything in this episode is. It's not trying to be X-Files or anything like that. It's, saying hey, you know all those aliens that you heard about, they're these three wacky guys, and I think that's pretty great. I really do love. I mean, this might be my favorite Ferengi episode, just flat out. I've always enjoyed it, but I don't know. My wife loves this episode. This is her favorite episode of Deep Space Nine, and she tends to have it on in the background, sort of on repeat every once in a while, and I never really pay attention to it, but watching it again yesterday, I was like, damn, this episode is super solid. It totally works, and it's really, really funny, and the performances are great. Everything about it is just spot on. Also, we get Charles Napier, who was one of the space hippies in the original series, as a general, in the Air Force or whatever he is here. Completely opposite, but pretty awesome. And I really do love this episode. There's a lot of really cool and funny stuff in here for sure.
I saw a meme the other day. This is going to date the show, I'm sure, immediately. With him, with his two characters, silly internet meme where it said, "You either."
Would be you either die a hippie and live
live long enough to see yourself become a Herbert or something. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But this episode is just so good. And now in my head canon, and this is just me, because the character of I think Faith was her name. She reminded me a lot of Peggy Carter for a lot of various different reasons. And now, even though she wasn't British, but that in my head, I'm like, yeah, Peggy Carter. So now we can cross over the Marvel and Star Trek universes, which would be awesome. But
I also love the how they have everyone smoking, constantly. It's freaking Good Night and Good Luck, the George Clooney movie, where just everyone's always smoking, and then they have Quark comment on it, which I think is just perfect. they buy poison, they'll buy anything, like this is a really good thing for him. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's I think an overlooked episode a lot of the time, because it doesn't really have anything to do with anything else aside from getting Nog to Starfleet, but it's really, really funny. It's one of the funniest episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
This is just one you can put on, no matter what, and you're going to have a good time.
Yep. Well, Daniel, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me on Twitter. My handle there is OneUpDan. That is the number 1, not the word.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Mumbles3K, or you can also find me here on the network doing Stage 9 with John Mills, where we talk about the people who make Star Trek. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up today. We will be back tomorrow to talk about 2 episodes of Voyager, Cold Fire and Maneuvers.